right, joining me now is Justin Daigle. Of course, you probably recognize him as the captain of the West Auckland Admirals and also doing a lot of awesome things with the Auckland Ice Hockey Association. Justin, how you doing, buddy, up there in lockdown?
Yeah, doing all right, man. Good to see you, and yeah, trying to just keep busy as we can through all this. It's some trying times, but yeah, so far so good.
Speaking of keeping busy, you and AJ Spiller, Admirals fans will recognize that name as well. You guys have been, you've launched some new online interactive lessons recently. How did the first one go?
Yeah, so we obviously AJ being the general manager for the Auckland Ice Hockey Association and myself as the head coach, we just thought that we got to find a way to stay engaged with the members and the kids and try to be doing something. And obviously the fortunate side of it is that we're in the age of technology where we have access to some of these programs like Zoom and things like that. So we started off by doing some video segments, which is, not exactly in either of our comfort zones, but wanted to get something out there so that people could engage with the hockey community and be able to provide them with some little drill ideas and things they could be doing at home to stay with it. But that kind of segued after doing a couple of the hockey at home video segments. We decided we should potentially look at running some online sort of classes that kids could tune into, and adults too. We've had a few adults that have joined in on the sessions too. So, and that was brought up at one of the board meetings, and we thought, you know what, collaboratively, let's put some ideas down. And there's a few dads in the group that had some great ideas of things that they'd seen and that other sports were doing. So we, just started to sort of conceptualize what we could do, and we wanted to sort of make it age specific and try to reach as much of our member group as we could. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Obviously, nothing beats being on the ice, but this has been just a cool way to still be able to engage with everybody and stay active and have some fun doing it. So,
yeah, absolutely. Now, the key thing there, obviously, being interactive. So, what kind of questions are you or AJ being asked during these lessons?
Well, so here's the thing. We thought that, if we let everybody have that ability to sort of ask questions, they would spiral a bit out of control. So we've taken the approach of making it more like a classroom segment. So we actually mute everybody that's joining the call, and then basically we spotlight myself doing the drills, doing the workout. So that's the one downside, is it isn't as interactive as we would have liked it to be. But it was just one of those things where if we have 29 kids on a call, all wanting to ask questions, then before you know it, our half hour is up and we haven't even started a workout. So we had to sort of be a bit strategic with how we sort of structured it and ran it. And we just thought that was the best way to do it, is people join the call, we get right into it with a bit of a warm up. We segue that into our workout and then do 10 minutes of skill work, just some ball handling drills, and then finish with a bit of a cool down and a quick sign off. And fortunately, we've got Center Ice that has jumped on board and are now offering some gift vouchers. So one lucky member of the call gets to go home with a bit of a voucher from Center Ice. So that's been awesome having them on board with it too. And it's just recently opened up to the whole country. So it started off as sort of an Auckland only concept, but we've decided that we'd open it up to anybody that's in New Zealand, and actually even around the world. We had AJ's cousin tune in from Canada on his birthday. And so we, it's been pretty cool and a lot of fun. So.
Man, that's awesome. I've definitely noticed that, even being here in Sydney, I've noticed that the likes of, Center Ice and obviously you guys are all jumping in and pitching in and just trying to do whatever you can to kind of connect the New Zealand hockey community during these crazy times, which is, it's just awesome to see. And I wish I could be a part of it more, being where I am, but I guess, this will do, I guess. But the one thing I really like about you, Justin, is just how much you've immersed yourself, within the community from the moment you got here. Helping Kiwis of different age groups and abilities, learning to play hockey and improve their skills. One thing, being, obviously you being Canadian, being from Alberta, how have you found the uptake of the sport here?
Oh man, it's been unbelievable. I was I had my intentions early on were, play a season or two as an import and then, sort of go back to life as normal. But obviously the opportunities were sort of presented, and I, was really happy to stay here. And I really enjoy being able to contribute and be sort of one piece to the big puzzle of people that are here to grow the sport. And we're lucky that we have so many good people here in New Zealand. The amount of people that volunteer their time and energy to be on the ice and help the kids develop is just unbelievable. And I'm just happy to be a part of that group. And the growth of the sport has been awesome to see over the last few years. Just even in the last year of being involved with the AIHA, it's been incredible seeing the learn to play level. It's really that grassroots that I get extremely excited about. Just seeing new kids getting into the sport, falling in love with it, takes me back to my first couple of years in hockey. And I couldn't even skate my first year. I was so mad at my dad for getting me into it, and I would crawl around the ice and try to keep up to everybody, and I couldn't even stand up. But once I kind of got the hang of skating, it was game over for me. So seeing kids that just like I said, fall in love with the sport and stick with it, and being able to help them develop and stay involved is just as rewarding as it can be. So
I love hearing about you struggling to pick the sport up when you were a kid, because I guess the obvious stereotype with Canadians is that you're basically born into hockey. You're born with, skates on, as they say. From your experience being here in New Zealand, can Kiwis pick it up naturally like, your countrymen do? Or is there sometimes more of a steep learning curve involved there?
No, I'm blown away all the time with some of the natural ability. I mean, it's crazy to see. Like, there's kids that start off their first session in our learn to play classes, and they're needing one of those frames to stay up. And by the end of that session, they're flying around with their frames. You almost kind of got to rope them in and say, you got to stay in this little area, but and the next time they're back, they don't even need the frame anymore, and off they go. And so, I think it's incredible to see some of the natural athleticism and ability that some of these kids have. And then obviously I think that, we do a good job of making it a fun environment. And that's, again, goes down to all the coaches that we have that help out. It's definitely a fun learning environment that is, predicated on the kids just being out there, enjoying themselves. And again, it's just awesome to be involved with. So.
You mentioned, obviously, with the lessons that you and AJ are doing, you've now opened it up to the rest of New Zealand. Now, I know that down in Canterbury, they pride themselves on their youth program. I've seen some of the amazing things that, Dean Tonks does. How do you think the youth development in Auckland is comparing, or how does it fare compared to those other regions in the country?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where everybody's doing what they can. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of volunteers involved, and it takes an army of people that are backing it all. And so it's a kudos to every region as far as the effort that's going into developing young hockey players. And so, but I mean, I don't want to compare any region to any other region. We all have struggles that we have to sort of work through, and those challenges are not just hockey specific. That's sort of minor sport specific for New Zealand. And so I think we're fortunate enough that we have some really, really good people involved at the national level and within each of the regions. And so there's really no need to compare anything. We all have struggles, but at the end of the day, everybody seems to want what's best, and that's for more kids to get involved with the sport and to keep them in the sport, I think is the big key too. And that just comes from creating a fun environment for them to get into it, and then make sure we can keep them engaged and having fun for years to come. So I think, it's kudos to the entire country. And I've been really, really pleased to see how many people are involved with that.
Now, I know because one of the obviously big concerns is the kind of drop off of players as they get older. You're actually the head coach of the New Zealand under 20s team for the past 3 seasons. This year, we saw a slight improvement in Bulgaria over 2019. You went from 8th to 6th place. What were some of your biggest takeaways from that 2020 World Champs?
Yeah, it's one of those things where we've tried to add a lot more structure, and we've been fortunate enough to have some awesome people at the federation level that have been involved as administrators and support staff, and we've really been driving that we can't just rely on one training camp before we go to compete, and drive the cost down by doing more local camps. And something we've done now is we're now flying the coaching resources around the country as opposed to the players, which is obviously there's only 2 or 3 coaches involved, whereas there's 20 kids or 20 players that we would have to fly around the country. So just from simply a budget perspective, which obviously at that level, the cost factor is a huge barrier to players being involved with the under 20 national team. So we're trying to eliminate that cost factor, and again, make it an ongoing development program as opposed to a one-off training camp before we could go away to compete. And so that was something that we started last year. We ran 4 camps from September through to December, and then obviously had our training camp in January overseas. And prior to this whole COVID-19 situation, we had another 6 camps already booked and ready to go between now and December as well. So it's unfortunate timing. We did get lucky enough to get a camp in Christchurch, and we had 2 scheduled for April. One was going to be in Auckland and one was going to be down in Dunedin. And then obviously we've introduced a new program with the NZIHL schedule that would see the under 20 level players playing on a team for the bye weekends of the regions that were on the bye. So they would play against that team. So let's say it was West Auckland Admirals had a bye that weekend. Well, we would then bring in the under 20s from around the country to play against the West Auckland Admirals, so we could get them some extra game time. Because that's another thing we notice is a lot of them are on the bubble with the NZIHL squads, and it's very competitive at that level. So oftentimes they don't get a lot of game time, and then we expect them to go compete at the world stage, and the pressure's on, and they aren't quite used to it yet. So we have to try to provide them more opportunities to get comfortable in those pressure situations, and obviously not just depend on a 10-day training camp prior to competition. That's just not enough time. It needs to be an ongoing sort of hockey's a year-round thing at that level. So that's the big changes. And obviously once we get through this situation, it'll be back to business, and we'll pick up where we left off and get ready for 2021. So
I love that, man. There's some really creative problem solving there. Obviously, the big thing with the travel, and you're seeing some benefits from that now. Could you see that kind of initiative happening with the other national teams, both with, say, the Ice Blacks and the women's teams?
Yeah, I think that's something that sort of from the top down is going to be expected within each of the national team levels. Even the under 18s, under 16s. It's a new development model that we've and I'm not the only one. Obviously, there's a ton of people involved in making that stuff happen, and again, it's just it's a testament to the new vision. There's a set vision now that everybody wants to carry out across the board with the national program. And so again, I'm just happy to contribute with the under 20 effort, and we got some good people with the other teams that again, it's just going to mean bigger and better things for New Zealand on that international stage. So it's awesome.
I love it. Now, of course, you've had your mate AJ Spiller by your side as the assistant coach in the past for those under 20 tournaments. This year, you brought along Eric DeWitt. In your eyes, what does a guy like Eric bring to that role?
Oh, he's another just really bright hockey mind, and he's got a great coaching background as well. He coached at the Bantam AAA level in Red Deer, so a hockey hotbed there, and he's got a lot of reffing experience. If you remember, he's reffed in exhibition in the WHL, and so he's a guy that knows the game inside and out. And at the end of the day, we speak the same hockey language, and so. we've had times in the past watching NHL games together just as buddies, and we're calling the same stuff as it's happening, and so we just thought it'd be a good fit. And again, he's a strong personality, which you kind of need for those roles. And again, he's been through what it takes to be a coach, and he was a great counterpart, and was good to work with. And yeah, we got another year together, and then we'll see where we go from there. So.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to 2021, where hopefully everything is back to normal and we have hockey and everything, and it's just, we can just go back to the way things were.
Yeah.
But yeah, with you being involved with the under-20s, for some time now, I know Finlay Forbes has a bit of a cult following, which is quite cool to see. Where the podcast, we've been fans of him for a while ourselves, but who are some players that you could see progressing from that level to becoming future leaders and difference makers with the Ice Blacks? There's some amazingly talented players at that level. So Finlay obviously is a talented goalie, and he's going to develop and continue to develop for years to come, and definitely one of those sort of up and comers for the Ice Blacks, and great kid, and funny guy too. He's quite the personality. But some of the others, I don't like naming names and individuals, but Hayden Bowl from the Canterbury region, very smart centerman, great player. Committed to the sort of the off ice side of things. He's always fit, and so Max Vesper, another one that just has incredible amounts of talent. Lachlan Butler, Flynn Jones. I don't want to name too many because I'll end up forgetting somebody, and then I'll be in the bad books. But we're lucky that there's a ton of opportunity, ton of I guess you could say upside at the under 20 group. And I'm just excited to continue to work with them and do my best to help them reach new heights in their development. And there's definitely, the sky's the limit for a lot of those guys, and they will be future Ice Blacks out of that group without a doubt. And what about yourself, Justin? As the under-20s head coach now, do you have any further coaching ambitions that drive you to improve?
Oh, absolutely. Like, coaching is one of those things you can never be too good at it. And it's just like hockey itself. You're never going to master it. And the second you think you know it all, you're wrong. And so I just love working with some of the other coaches here in the country. And I'm young, as far as coaches go. I'm only 32, so I know there's still a ton to learn. And I look forward to any opportunity to sort of be a sponge and soak up knowledge, and then obviously just try to pass that on to the players. And but I like to push my own limits, and definitely have future aspirations of one day coaching with the Ice Blacks program, and just continuing to try to make an impact and do what I can to help grow the sport and keep players having fun. That's really it for me. But there's always room to improve, always stuff to learn, and I'm just excited to be along for the ride. So.
Now, you got your start. You're a video coach for the under-20s as well. We know we've had other video coaches on the podcast before. Travis Krikard comes to mind. Of course, we kind of know on that level, both in, like Canadian junior leagues, what that kind of role would entail. But say down here in New Zealand, what does a video coach do?
Well, basically, you have to analyze any footage that you have. So for us with the under-20s this year, we would just, we don't have a ton of money, so it's not like we're out there buying the cutting edge sort of technology as far as filming, cameras and things like that. But we take every opportunity where we can get some footage, and obviously then it's a matter of dissecting that footage, identifying things that you like out of your systems, and room for improvement, and you do have to point out mistakes because that's a part of the learning process. But so really it's just that. It's reviewing footage, clipping certain things that you want to highlight to the team, and then obviously running that video session, and providing the feedback that the players need, and what could have been done better, or different scenarios, and and how the players can improve on the execution side of the system. So it's a pretty deep rabbit hole. I'm not the most technically gifted, so I keep it simple with the programs and stuff. But with the under 20s, like the game footage goes up to YouTube, so it's nice and easy. You can just watch it on the YouTube stream, write down the time that you see the mistake or the good thing happen, and then put your notes in place and run it however you want. I just use PowerPoint and away we go. So pretty simple. Let's put it that way.
Love it. I feel like there's definitely a market here for video coaching in New Zealand when you speak of it like that. Moving on to the NZHL, obviously COVID-19's kind of hit us hard there. But before all that, how were preparations looking for the West Auckland Admirals this year?
Yeah, I mean, we were, I've got excited, to say the least. We had ran 2 scrimmages on a Monday night and got the boys back together. And we had just started 2 weeks of being back at the gym together. So that was, just extremely exciting. You never see the guys enough in the off season. And so it was awesome to get everybody back, and the energy was there. Everyone was ready to make a solid push at the season, and excited to get back to training and pushing each other. And then, unfortunately we had to sort of close up shop. So, but I know, in talking with some of the guys, people are still doing things they can at home to stay fit. I know myself personally, I'm running almost every day and doing home workouts, and even just the Zoom sessions with the kids. I tell you what, I end up huffing and puffing and dripping sweat by the end of those. But I think we were excited about it. We had lined up some really good imports. And so that was sort of our pieces to the puzzle. Obviously, it was going to be a big hole missing AJ this year. So that was a key sort of gap that we had to try to fill, which we were confident we'd found a good candidate there. And so, it was unfortunate, but it is what it is. And I know that the boys will just be chomping at the bit to get back to it whenever we get that green light to do so. So,
has there been any kind of discussions amongst the league and the teams of a possibility of salvaging a season this year?
Not that I've heard. I think everybody's still sort of waiting. Like a lot of those decisions, especially from contact sports, those will be handed down. It's not really up to us, the NZIHL or the federation for that matter, to make those decisions executively. It's something that I know, like AJ's working with Sport New Zealand all the time, staying up to date with the information that they release, and it's going to be something that decisions will be made, but I would say that it'd be ambitious to think anything can be salvaged at this point. It's just so risky as far as the financial side of things, and players already pay X amount to play. So any of that financial risk would fall back on the players, and so it's a tough one. It is, but obviously everybody wants to get back to it, but we got to wait till the time is right and do things the right way so that we don't end up having to go back into something like this. So it's step by step, and we'll see where we get at the end of it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. We all want to see sport back as much as possible, but I guess in the meantime, obviously, you've probably seen, here at Pakeha, we're bringing in the NZHL season. We're going to be creating 4 players for each NZHL team from any previous roster, based on the nominations we've received, and it seems like end goal for you guys is going to be Finlay Forbes. We definitely got slammed there. Now, we'll fill out those rosters with a fantasy draft of NHL players outside of that. If you could draft one NHL pro to the Admirals, who would it be and why?
Ooh, put me on the spot here. One NHL player. Top of my head, I'm going with somebody like Austin Matthews, just a pure goal scorer, but has some size. And I know, I know Marner's there too, hint, hint, wink, wink. But that's a tough one. I guess Matthews would jump out, but Pasternak is unbelievable. And I mean, hard to dog Ovi when he's still putting up as many goals as he's doing. So it's a pretty physical game too. So Yeah, no, I'm confident. Matthews would be a good choice.
I was kind of surprised you weren't going to throw out a Flame player there.
Yeah, to be fair, like I love Gio, but Giordano, and Johnny, obviously Johnny Hockey, but just a little small. Seems to get pushed around when the going gets tough around playoff times. So got to get that size and skill combo, I think. So.
I love that. The coach's brain comes out even when we're talking about video games. You mentioned Ovi, and I think it's just so awesome. The sign of the times where we had Ovi, the Great Eight, versus Wayne Gretzky, the Great One, in a game of Chow. Like, it's just awesome that people are finding different ways to try and fill the void. I know, obviously, Cam Green, he filled out the BHL season with a simulation. So that's awesome to see. But I mean, we're all just trying to do anything we can to entertain ourselves, during this pandemic. Aside from, doing the videos with AJ, what else are you doing to keep yourself sane?
Well, I'm a bit of a closet gamer, so playing a little bit of Call of Duty here and there. And yeah, that's always fun. It's awesome. In the age of technology, I can jump on a game with my buddies back in Canada. And so that's kind of cool. So, but other than that, just staying fit. There's lots to do here on the ranch. So there's, making horse feeds and helping my fiance Haley with anything she needs around here. And then, just staying active, trying to go out, I go for, 5 to 7K run every day and some walking and trying to get that step count up. I've got a step count watch. So I, constantly trying to keep an eye on that and just try to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And it's great. We, on the property here, we've got her parents as well. So we're in that bubble with them. So we're still able to keep in contact with them. And yeah, she's working from home. So it's been some extra quality time that is a bit of a bonus to how unfortunate the situation is.
Speaking of that, I have one more question for you that may potentially put you on the spot. Speaking of that quality time, we're spending a lot of quality time with ourselves at the moment. After a month of lockdown, what's one thing you've learned about yourself?
I love hockey. I guess that's not learning it, but yeah, I miss being able to just skate out on the ice, and that's sort of the home away from home and the happy place. And it's been there my whole life. And it's just hard not to be able to just go to the rink and jump on the ice anytime. And so, yeah, I think it's not that I'm learning how much I love it, but I guess it's been a good reminder of how much I love and miss it. So, yeah, that's about it. I also realize that I'm a bit of a weirdo sometimes when I get that energy. And yeah, I goof around a little bit too much sometimes and distract Haley while she's working. But it's all in good fun. Nice,
man. Well, I mean, hopefully things get back to normalcy soon. I know New Zealand is trying to do whatever they can to get the levels down. Obviously, you're going to level 3 lockdown and hopefully soon to level 2, and then who knows what will happen from there. But anyway, Justin Daigle, thanks so much for your time. It's always awesome catching up with you, buddy, and can't wait to see more of your lessons with AJ.
Oh, man, thank you again for reaching out, and always happy to chat with you, Logan. So keep doing what you're doing. And again, I've said it so many times in the past, but we're so lucky to have someone with your passion covering the sport here. And you do tremendous work to help us grow it and promote it. So don't change a thing, buddy. Keep it up.
Well, that wraps up another Zoom chat here at Puck. Yeah, thanks again to Justin Daigle for taking the time to chat to us. I know this is definitely filling in my day because, well, I'm on leave at the moment and I don't really have much else to do. So expect a few more of these over the next couple of weeks. Now, if you want us to interview anyone in particular in the New Zealand hockey community, reach out to us and let us know and we'll try and make it happen. I know that we definitely want to get Andy Mills, the New Zealand Ice Hockey Federation president, on sometime soon, just to talk about, where things are at now and I guess the future of the sport moving on from all this COVID-19 pandemic stuff that is just absolutely put everything on pause. So enough of that for now, but yeah, we'll be back soon with more. See ya.